I'm Mo Rocca, and I'm excited to announce Season 4 of my podcast, Mobituaries. I've got a whole new bunch of stories to share with you about the most fascinating people and things who are no longer with us. From famous figures who died on the very same day, to the things I wish would die, like buffets. All that and much more. Listen to Mobituaries with Mo Rocca wherever you get your podcasts.
Alright, what's up guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show, and in today's episode, I wanted to talk on this particular subject. I feel like it's needed because there are a lot of people in this world that feel like if they chase hard enough, if they go above and beyond, if they step out of a character that they usually are to be somebody else for somebody that they're chasing, and that person ain't making no effort into showing any amount, like if, alright, here's the thing, if they're running away from you as you are chasing them, there's no reason to be chasing that person. Like, don't waste your time on a person that don't want nothing to do with you. I know this better than anybody. I've been in situations like this before, and yeah, it's not fun. You find yourself sitting down trying to figure out, like, well, what's wrong with me? What did I do wrong? What's going on? Why am I... And you're questioning who you are. That's something that you should never do. That's like, I feel like that's like one of the many rules in life, is that you should never question who you are as a person, especially if you know that you're a good person. Obviously, if you out there like committing crimes and doing illegal stuff, then yeah, you know, then you, that's, see, the thing about that is because like every time when I like try to give off some like inspiring speech or, you know, drop some motivation on you, like, I sit down and I start thinking of, like, the ones that's out here doing negative stuff, but they think that they're doing something right. The thing is about that is that, you know, you can't convince a person or tell a person otherwise when they're doing something wrong. And the thing is this, a person knows when they're doing something wrong. So, like, if you, like, the thing is this, if you go to sleep and you're thinking about that wrong thing that you're doing and you can't sleep, you can't think straight, like, overall, like, people are going to, and that's the thing, even with positive stuff, people are going to look at you and question why you are doing the things that you're doing. At least with positive things, you know, and I guess, yeah, with negative things too, but, you know, at least with positive things, that's going to make you feel better. You know, like, and that's the thing where it's like, even saying that, yeah, there's just gonna be some negative people in this world. I think we all should know the difference between the wrongs and the rights. Like, don't be out here doing wrong stuff, okay? Like, that's all I'm gonna say about that. And the thing is this, there's two different types of ways of chasing people, I feel like. There's the good, well, I mean, yeah, there is a good way of chasing people, but at the same time, it's like, you don't be that weird person when chasing somebody. You know, like, that's one thing that I say I can't relate to, is that I've never been weird, like, when doing stuff like that. And I hear stories and situations where, yeah, there are people in this world where it's like, I mean, if you look at, like, those Fatal Attraction type movies, you know, where it's like, yeah, that's a clear example of, like, a negative way of chasing somebody. And the positive way of chasing somebody, the thing, and it's even with, like, I feel like, you know, when they placed it out in movies, the positive ways of chasing people, like, that, it's so unrealistic. You know, like, and then versus the negatives, it's like, yeah, that seems pretty legit to me. I've heard some crazy stories. Like, it's crazy how, like, a negative movie is so real, when a positive movie, it is so fictional. Unless it's one of those movies that's based on a true story. But, like, when you look at movies like Fatal Attraction, and then when you look at what, like, type of love story movie out there, like, but when you just look at some of them, like, love story movies, like, it is so just, it's to me, it's some of the most fictional stuff, unless it is based on a true story. But how many times have you heard of a movie, a romance movie? Let me just look it up real quick, based on a true story romance movies, because I don't think I've ever seen them. I'm like, I've never seen no based on a true story romance movie. Based on a true story romance. Movies based on true stories romance. It Could Happen to You, A Beautiful Mind, Walk the Line, The Vow, Fever Pitch, Bonnie and Clyde is not a romance movie. That is the worst movie to add to They were out here robbing banks and killing people. That is not a romance movie. That is a crime filled movie. Yeah, obviously, the two couples, they were in a relationship. You mean to tell me that is how realistic it gets? Because I've never heard of those. And then there's two other movies called Reaching for the Moon and Boys Don't Cry. I've never have heard or seen any of those other movies besides Bonnie and Clyde. You mean to tell me the most truest romance movie, okay, is Bonnie and Clyde? Like, come on. Bro, even Fatal Attraction, even though that movie was a fictional movie, it wasn't based on a true story, I would, if both of those movies were out on the line, right, on which movies you should take advice from and which movies do you think is based on a true story, I would 100% choose Fatal Attraction, because that movie, I've heard stories of where significant other can't accept the fact that the other doesn't want to be with them anymore. So yeah, they do some stalkerish and crazy stuff. Like in that movie, there were some things that the woman had did where it was like, okay, like that's it. But at the same time though, it's like, no, that seems kind of legit. Like there's the one scene in Fatal Attraction that I thought was so messed up. There were a couple of scenes in there that were pretty messed up, but I just think how it played out, like one of the scenes, the one scene, I'm like, that could possibly happen. Like if you own a rabbit, I definitely would keep that rabbit. If you have a nasty breakup, I will keep that rabbit with you at all times. If you do have a rabbit. But so anyways, so the woman, overall, so the movie plays out is that the guy had an affair, like he cheated on his wife. I didn't know how to put it when I used the word affair, but anyways, he cheated on his wife, and the woman couldn't accept the fact that he was like, okay, yeah, I'm married, I can't be with you, this ain't gonna work out, yada yada. So anyways, he goes and yeah, he, just living his life, but the woman couldn't accept that. So she's stalking him, doing all this Fatal Attraction stuff, doing all these crazy things, just like, just ruining his life pretty much, right? So anyways, it comes down to it where him, his wife, and his kid, they all went out somewhere, come back home. I think the smoke detector was going off. Somehow, some way, they found out that something was cooking in their household, in their kitchen, and it wasn't the rock. Okay, so anyways, something is on their stove, right? And it's going back and forth between the kid running to the rabbit cage and then the mom walking towards I think it was the mom, but the mom walking towards the stove to see what was cooking. Going back to the kid, was it a girl? I think it might have been a daughter. I don't know. I always get confused with the kid in there. But anyways, so the kid is, they're running to their rabbit cage. The mom is walking all slowly to the, pot, going back and forth. All of a sudden, it cuts to the kid and it's all like, Mom, such and such is in their cage, talking on the rabbit. And then, yeah, the mom opens up the pot and the rabbit is in there frying. Like it was in some boiling water and it died. And I was like, wow. Do you understand? Like the kid ain't had nothing to do with it. That's the crazy thing about it. Kid ain't had nothing to do with it, but yet they were the one that had suffered more than any of them. Yeah, like the dad, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, don't be out here cheating on your wife. And the mom's like, okay, it's like I'm trying to think. Yeah, the mom towards the end, she kind of had her like emotional situation going on with the crazy woman. But the kid, though, it's like, that's going to forever stick in their head. Like, their rabbit got killed. I mean, yeah, I don't think the kid didn't see it, but still, though, I'm like, what did the kid have anything to do with this? Like, why take them out? Why take out the rabbit, And yeah, it was honestly such a crazy movie, but anyways, that movie seems more realistic or it seems like that gives you more advice on what happens when you chase an individual versus Bonnie and Clyde. That was the whole, like, idea of this podcast episode. They were out here chasing money. And for those that don't know the Bonnie and Clyde story, in case people was all like, well, what happened in the Bonnie and Clyde movie? So Bonnie and Clyde, so Bonnie actually was living her life just a normal life. She was living with her family, was just chilling. And Clyde, I think how it was portrayed, I think that movie came out in 1967, but how it was portrayed in that version, because they made multiple versions. So anyways, Clyde was getting ready to rob them. I think he was getting ready to take their car. So I don't know, but he was in front of her house for some reason. Bonnie started talking with them. They ended up falling in love, and then they just went on this like bank robbery spree. They were just robbing a bunch of banks and stuff. So they ended up building a posse. They were just going around robbing a bunch of places. Well, long story short, the posse ended up like in different. Well, one of them I think has stayed with their dad. Two of them had got shot. One was blinded. The other one was killed. And then Bonnie and Clyde, the last two ones, still doing their thing. They end up coming back, I guess, to they thought was their hideout, but one of the people in their posses. So they went to go. One of the people in their posses thought it would be a good idea to send them over to their dad's to his dad's house. So the dad wasn't having it. He's like, no, them guys are bank robbers. We will not have that type of stuff going on. Not in this household. Not in this Christian household. We will not be having that. So he ends up calling the cops. The cops ambush Bonnie and Clyde. At some point in time, I think when Bonnie and Clyde, when they pulled up and then they seen the cops that were there, so what I had read was that, or how they portrayed it in this other movie, and I think that's how it was also written out, like what had really happened. So the cops had ambushed them. They looked like, I guess, they had started reaching down for some guns. And then the cops, they just unloaded into that car. I mean, we're talking like hundreds of bullets, bro. Because I think they said Bonnie and Clyde alone had, I think that's what my dad had told me, and then that's what I had read. I don't know if it's true or not, but Bonnie and Clyde had over 100 bullets in them. You can't tell me that that's a romance movie that everybody wants to have. No, bruh. I don't want that at all. I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want if we're playing a video game, like there's the one bank robbery game called Payday 2. If me and my significant other, if we're playing that and we end up being like famous for playing that game, that's fine. That's cool. But when we have that conversation talking about, we can do that in real life, like there's even been cops that said that they don't even know how we managed to get through some of them hard levels alone. So we can't. No, at that moment we gotta sit down, okay, as a couple and understand that is not a good relationship. And I think that's what overall, like what this whole episode is really about, is that, you gotta just, even like, here's the thing that I've been trying to have with myself, is that like not to hold grudges, not to be upset, because like, no, it is upsetting, like when you chase after a person and then they don't want nothing to do with you. I think anybody's gonna be upset by that, and it's gonna have some sort of like emotional effect on them. And the thing is like the lifestyle that I'm trying to have is that I don't allow it to upset me. Like the thing is like it is, but not as much. Like I don't want to be that, like revengeful like person. I don't want to hold no grudges. I don't want to, do anything to just really put my life in a negative lifestyle, because I don't want that. I don't want no negative lifestyle. So the thing is like, I heard situations and stories where it's like people, they can't accept that, and it's hard to accept, but at the same time, it's like the best advice that I can give you from myself is that you have no choice but to accept that, unless they turn around and they start chasing after you. And if you still got like something in your heart for that person, then okay, then something can potentially work out. But it shouldn't be where it's like, okay, like, well, when I fall out of love with that person, then I'll stop chasing them. No, you gotta just stop. If they don't want nothing to do with you right then and there, that is your red light. You have to stop, okay? You can't exceed beyond that red light and then think, oh, well, okay, I'm not gonna get, no, you get tickets for running a red light. And to put that into relationship terminology, when you go beyond that red light, now you're on a bad radar. You're on a bad radar that you don't want to be on. And it can end in so many bad ways if you don't stop. So that's one thing that I've learned is that, okay, at some point in time, I gotta stop. I can't keep going no more. It's like I have to move on. I gotta live my life. And that's what it's really all about, is that what people don't seem to understand is like they're trying to live a life that doesn't exist. Like when you're chasing after somebody and they don't want nothing to do with you, that's a life that doesn't exist. That's a life that you have no choice but to accept the fact that it's not real. It's not going to happen as many times as you try, unless that person wants something to do with you. Other than that, if that's not the case, if they don't want nothing to do with you, fam, you got to move on. Like for your health, for that other person's health, you putting yourself through like unnecessary amounts of stress. You're putting the other person in a unnecessary amount of stress. It's not needed. It never will be needed. It's fam, like you got to let stuff go. You have to. So yeah, overall, it's like there's just people out there where it's like they can't really accept that. And yeah, it's, it's just, to me, it's crazy, and it's like when I sit down and I think about it, because I'm like, of course, I think everybody in this world has done some sort of chasing in their life towards somebody. And when you do that and nothing works out, it's like, fam, you sitting there wondering, like, why was I chasing that person? Like, if nothing wasn't, it was just always like a one-sided thing where I'm doing all this extra stuff and I'm like, no, bruh. I'm like, that's what I'm like with me. I'm like, fam, I don't even care no more. I'm like, look, I'm moving on. I'm living my life. That's all that I care about. Like, and that's the thing where it's like I feel like one of the main reasons why a person goes out and chases an individual is because they ain't got nothing to do. When you don't have nothing to do, then yeah, of course, you gonna have all the time in the world to be out here chasing people. And it's like, fam, for what? Like, they don't want nothing to do with you, so they're trying to focus on their life. That's what you should also be doing. You should also be focused on your life. But when you start focusing on other people and you're out here trying to just, live a life that it's not gonna happen, it's like, fam, you gotta move on. You gotta move on. You gotta, like, just for your health, you have to move on. Because if not, fam, I guarantee and I promise you, it's either gonna end in a situation where like you get hurt, or that person is most likely, and it's like, the thing is like, I don't like putting that out in existence, but it's like when you see these fictional movies become real, and I'm saying like these Fatal Attraction movies, it's like, and even on a situation where it's like, I mean, I've heard stories, like there was this one movie, I think I mentioned it not too long ago. I can't remember why I was even talking about that movie, but there's this, and y'all can judge me, but hey, this channel be having, especially the based on the true story movies, they be having some crazy movies. I don't know if this was like a Lifetime movie or if this was just a movie that played on Lifetime, but no, so there is this movie on there where the woman, she had like this crazy, there's a couple of stories out there, but anyway, well, the one was more so because she was in an abusive relationship, but the other one, so no, she was in like a stalkerish type relationship, she was in a relationship with a guy ain't want nothing to do with, or no, the girl didn't want nothing to do with the guy couldn't accept it, so he goes crazy. Like, the movie was more so based around their court case, but it did show flashbacks of like what led up to why they were in the courtroom in the first place. So anyways, so yeah, the woman is, she was in an abusive relationship overall too, but she broke up with the guy, and she didn't want nothing to do with him. Well, the guy couldn't accept it. So he goes, to her, house. He starts acting crazy, belligerent. Is that how you say that word? Whatever. Anyways, he starts going crazy, ends up somehow, some way, they end up outside, and she ended up in the middle of the street. And at some point in time, she ends up getting on the ground. I think he either pushed her down or hit her, and she fell down. And this part, it's kind of hard to like talk on, even though I've talked on it before, but it's crazy to think that you got that much anger in your heart because somebody don't want to be with you. And it's like, well, obviously this is why. I'm like, look at how you're acting right now, fam. Like, maybe if you acted normal and maybe you treat this person with a little bit more respect, fam, they wouldn't be, and that's like probably one of the main reasons, just because of like who I grew up with, the movies that I watched, the situations that I heard of, and that's like one of the main reasons why it's like I have no choice in this life, all right? It just wouldn't make sense to me to be the person that I am and then end up being disrespectful to women. It just wouldn't make any sense. So, but he got so upset that he started stomping on her neck, right? And there's cops, there's family members, there's all these people. I probably would have tackled dude. Like, if that would have been me. And that's something where it's like, I've asked myself that question, like, what would you do if you seen a woman going through that same, situation and stuff? Like, I would tackle her. And then that's something where it's like, people have told me, it's all like, where you don't want to lose your life in the process trying to help somebody else, which is true. I don't. But at the same time, it's like, I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking, is this person okay? Why are you acting like this? You think this like, and that's the thing where a lot of people, where it's like, when you're acting like that, like weirdo type of crazy, where it's like you're doing all this extra stuff trying to get back with this person, but it's like, you guys sit down and understand, does this person want to be with you? No. Okay. Why is it? If you're acting a certain way on why they have to block you on social media, they're got a restraining order on you, they're doing all these things to ensure that they never see you again in their life, fam, that's why. It's like, they're not, the thing is this, do you think all this stuff will be happening to you? Like, let's say you're the most perfect boyfriend, husband, whatever, right? But she wants out. Do you think any of the stuff, if she blocks you on social media, files a restraining order on you, do all this extra stuff to ensure that she never sees you again in life, and or no, not even that but it's like, you're a good person, okay? It ain't something that needs to be, like, like, you be out here going to charity events, you be saving kids from house fires, you be doing all these, like, just these good deeds, like, you are literally an angel, bruh. You is a angel. Do you think all of that stuff will be happening to you if you were carrying on like where you were like this angel-filled person? No, it wouldn't. It probably wouldn't even be a discussion. That person would most likely still be in a relationship with you. But obviously, there are some things that caught their eye where it's like, I don't want to be in a relationship with you no more. If it's some stuff where it's on them, then it's on them. But if it's you, fam, that's why. Don't pursue, don't chase, don't, it's like, fam, like, you gotta let stuff go and move on. So I hope people hear this and they actually hear it. But if not, fam, if you find yourself one day serving a life sentence in prison, because look at that one situation with that porn star. I was just reading about that not too long ago. And there was just, because it was so I always get confused, because at first I thought it was a situation where she was doing her work at home and stuff. Can I say the word? It starts corn, but replace the C with a P. I don't know, bruh. But it's not like I'm actually showcasing it. I'm just talking. But there's a situation where, a porn star, she broke up with her MMA boyfriend. And it's like, I learn new stuff about it every day, because I'm like, it's not every day, just it just sounds so weird talking on it, because people are gonna be like, wait a minute, what you doing searching? I was searching it up, okay, to just read into that story. It's like, I'm not doing what y'all think I'm doing. I was just looking it up to just look at the story, all right? So, because no, it's always one of those things where it's like, you gotta just sit down and think, like, why would somebody have that much anger in their heart? But anyway, so she breaks up with the MMA fighter, ends up dating somebody else. I guess she was going there to get some of her things. MMA fighter wasn't having it. Beats up her boyfriend. Beats her up for like 2 hours. And then did all these other crazy things. It was wild, man. And I'm like, bruh, for people to have that much anger in their heart over some stuff, it's like, it should never be the case. So, but anyways, and that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. If you're viewing this on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. And if you're viewing this on a podcast streaming service, make sure you follow or subscribe, however it's set up. Make sure you subscribe to, I don't even know why I'm doing all that promo stuff, because I'm like, usually I don't do that in like serious episodes and stuff. So, but anyways, y'all know the deal. Thank you guys for watching and or listening, and peace.